Channel. My name is Brad and this is SuperCoach Pro. Just looking at my trades, as you can see in that top left hand corner, I've got Bowes and Chapman out. To bring into the side, I think I'm going to go Jakey Lloyd. I don't think I have to give you a reason. Rich is always had that injury history, and as you can see on my side, I've got a really high risk injury side, so I don't really need that. Same with Doherty. He scores really well as well, but he's just injury prone, and my side's way too liable at the moment. Salem doesn't have the history of this consistency up until this year, so I'm not going to pick him as a pod because, as you've seen in my previous videos, Chor was meant to be a pod, was going on an average of like 115 over a month. Then I bring him in, he scores 97, 87, 83. So I don't want to do the same thing and jinx those Salem owners, and that sort of happens. So welcome to the side. Jakey Lloyd hasn't had a low score of, I think 95 is his lowest. Now, the big thing to consider this week out of Lockie, Jones and Murphy, I probably wouldn't bring in both unless you really needed to. I'd give Kaczynski one more week just against Carlton. I know his break-even's pretty high, but I think he could go all right. So what I'm thinking is Murphy, I won't bore you too much, but this is what he's competing with. Murphy's competing with the likes of a first gamer, McQuarrie, Madgen, Bianco, a first gamer, Brown, Dacos, Keane. In those four, I think Dacos gets named. I think Keane gets named. Murphy and McQuarrie. They're the four guys I reckon get named. In here, I think it's Drew, Bonner, maybe Farrell, however you say it, and Jones. But that means Jonesy is competing with Mays, however you say that, Woodcock and Bergman. Out of those, I'm not sure which one's the defenders. I should have actually studied that before going into this video. But as you can see, the depth that Port have is so much more depth than Collingwood do, obviously. So just based on job security over the buys, I think I'm going to go Murphy. I feel like that's the safer of the two, even though Murphy's not going to make near as sort of much coin as what Lockie Jones will. But I feel he'll be in the team longer. The problem is I won't be doing anything to my side. My side's not upgrading itself. Yeah, you may say Jack Bowes is not a top 10 defender, but a couple of weeks ago he was, and that can all change. We've seen what, who's that Bulldogs, Caleb Daniels done. And you don't trade primos, and I've already traded a few before, and it's come back to bite me. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really convinced they're the moves I want to do this week. I won't really know till Friday night at 5 p.m, but by then it's too late to upload a video. If you're a Brayshaw owner like me, unfortunately, he's soft as butter and he's hurt his calf. They say 1 week, but Fremantle are the biggest liars. They said 1 week of Luke Ryan and he was out for 3 or 4. So expect to hold Brayshaw on there for a little longer than you probably think. I'm going to give it till I reckon he might miss next week as well because look, they're probably not going to make finals this year, so they probably don't need to risk him. But that's just my thoughts for this week. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to vice captain the man, Zorko. I think he's going to play well against Richmond. And I'm going to captain... I was actually considering captaining Hickey. I know you think that's really strange, but against Grundy and I think Gawn, he's played really well. And against Sean Darcy, surely he just tears him up. Look, against Gawn and Grundy, 102, 118. What if he can do that against those two guys? What is he going to do against someone like Sean Darcy, who's a peanut? So that's my thoughts this week. If you have any better options, I know I could hold Bowes for a week and get Kaczynski's score, but I feel like if you're trading out Bowes now, it's either now or never because you know you're going to miss him for 3 weeks. If you hold him for 1 more week, then you're only missing 2 more weeks. So you're better off doing that. I do only have 14 trades, so we'll have to start talking at bringing fallen primos in. I don't think we have enough coin this year, especially someone like myself, to bring in $600,000 midfielders. So even a Heaney at F6/F7 later on in the year could be an option that I'll look into next week for Warner, possibly. you got to start looking left field. Cash generation is going to be really short this year. Unless you got a lot of coin, I'm not sure what to do. So I know I've got 2 more upgrades in the midfield. He'd be a luxury trade during the back end of the season. So these 2 and these 2. So I've got 4 trades for what do I need? I need another 4 each. So you need 8 trades for these upgrades, which would leave me with 6 injury trades or 6 luxury trades, which would be Chalor, Brayshaw, maybe Hickey to Gorn, and maybe a few injuries. Problem is, if I've only got 6 more trades mathematically for injuries, I feel like I'm definitely going to get 6 injuries in the next 13 rounds, no doubt. So this is where you got to start creating a watch list, buy cheap players. I do have some suggestions we might look over in the next couple of weeks on who to go for if they're bottom out price. But these bottom out price players, you got to wait until they actually start banging out good numbers before you consider them. There is some really left field options. I won't go into today. It's really tempting to, but there's probably no point because you're going to be like, Brad, why would you even consider them? But in a couple of weeks' time, you'll understand. Anyway, if you have better options than these 2 for bias captain and captain options, that'd be great if you could leave in the comments. I could go Sammy Walsh against Hawthorn. I'm not sure how well he'd go because I know they use a tagger every now and again. I forget his name. I think it's Warple to tag, so that concerns me. I think he tagged Brayshaw. I just remembered that. And Jack Steele, I always get afraid that he could go back to that tagging role and he could tag a McRae or a Bont. Or you could just go Josh Kelly like I did last week, which was completely pod and sort of got me up in the ranks. So that's what I'm looking at doing this week. That's what I think I'll do this week. And yeah, like I said, have a look at the lineup tomorrow and see where these 2 guys are. If Murphy's not named, I'm going to have to pick Jones if he's named and Murphy's not, vice versa. Anyway, that's my team for the week. Hopefully, I can actually remain in this top 500. I'm not very confident because I've actually got people to get rid of as opposed to people that are actually injury-free. But I'm hoping with the likes of people like Toby Green and Marshall out that I'll actually be able to keep this rank even though I haven't done any upgrade to my side. Anyway, if you have any better suggestions in my team or really good vice captain options, please do let me know. I'm not sure if I did my footy tips. So if I haven't, this is what I'll quickly do. I'd tip Brisbane, Carlton, Geelong, Melbourne, Bulldogs, Sydney, Giants, Port Adelaide, Essendon. I'll catch you on the round 10 review. See you in the next one. If you like this one, please press the like button. I'm definitely out of here. And subscribe to my